Hey, I'm Jamie. I'd love to show you the new GraphCMS Doc Starter. It's built with Remix, Tailwind, GraphQL, and a bunch of cool tools, including things like the GraphQL code generator and the GraphCMS rich text renderer. If we explore the documentation starter here, you can see that we have a landing page with some content that has some links, lists, and everything styled here. We're using Tailwind to define all of the styles, and we're using the Tailwind typography plugin to take care of how our content looks like in lists and when we have links and various other things. If we have a look at the doc starter, we can see on the left we have a navigation. This navigation is completely controlled from the CMS. We can add items into a navigation item and we can reorder that, and we'll have a look at that in just a second. So you can see here we've got links, we can go to the getting started page, and if you are looking to get started with this doc starter, you can follow the tutorial here on how you can get started. And obviously we've documented this with the documentation starter that you're able to use. So you're no longer bound to Git workflows, submit pull requests. You're now able to manage your content for your documentation inside of a content management system. And you have all of the fun things that come of that with content stages, localization, and many other features that you can add to this. If we have a look inside of the usage section for navigation, we can see here a little tutorial on how you can kind of reorder, organize, and add items to your navigation, and all of the information is in there as well. We can see on the right hand side that we have a table of contents that comes as standard out of the box with the doc starter. If we go to the creating pages content, we can see here we have a small guide on what we can do inside of the CMS to add a new page to our documentation. Next, one of the cool things with GraphCMS is the ability to embed block and inline content entries from other models. So on this page, we have an embedded link to a page. So what we've done inside the CMS is embedded a page, and then when we render this using the rich text renderer, we've defined with Remix to link to a page when the embed is of the type page. You could obviously use this for an asset. This could also be a custom component, maybe some kind of poll or a quiz. If you kind of want to test the knowledge of anybody reading through your documentation, you can embed components here just like you would with something like MDX. You can also customize the starter. We've got some guides on how you can change the logo, how you can change the open graph image, and how you can share and update some of the SEO content as well as the footer and other things as well. You can also deploy this to multiple places. We've chosen Vercel out of the box here. This was defined when you install a new Remix application out of the box with their CLI, and we've got some kind of instructions here based on what they recommend on how you can kind of change where this can be published to. Now, if we take a deep dive inside of the CMS, we can see some of the different content models that's used to power the doc starter. The content model that you'll interact with most is most likely going to be the page model. You can see here we've got some fields for the title, the slug, the content, and we can see here that we have that embedded content ability enabled on that rich text field. We can also assign this to a chapter, nav item, and SEO. So why don't we switch on over to editing content for our page, and we'll just pick one example page. Let's pick the custom embeds entry, and if we have a look here, we can see that we have the title, custom embeds, as well as the slug, and then we've got some rich text content here. And the content for this page, if we go back, is rendered like this. We can see here we've got some inline code blocks, and this is rendered to us using the Tailwind typography class, and you can update the Tailwind config to change how this is presented, any colors. If you want to add some additional spacing, borders, backgrounds, things like that, you've got full control over that. We give you the AST to build that rich text content, and we provide a renderer to do so. So we can also see that we have this embedded entry here. So if I come on down and I embed yet another block item, let's choose a page. If we select a model then let's choose the getting started page. And once that's saved and published, if we go back and we refresh, because this is server rendered, there's no need to wait for any rebuilds. This is super fast and happens on the fly on the server side. So we can now see that we have two page embeds for creating pages and getting started. And when I click on that, that takes me to the getting started page. So that is the custom embeds feature. You can also do things like remove those embeds. We can save and publish that once more, and then we can see that has been successfully updated. You can also add some SEO content to this, whether it be no index and a open graph image for that individual page. Then we've got the navigation, and if I quickly show the entry for this, you can change how the navigation items are structured, and we can see here that we have a chapter in one, then we've got some external links, and this is using GraphQL union types to do this. So if you're interested on how all of this works, please head on over to docs.withheadlesscms.com to give it a try, and you can head on over to the GitHub repository and you can get started with this.